Has the ghost of Christmas just passed left you drowning in credit card debt? We can help. Up next on Real Life. We try so hard to provide a lavish holiday season for those near and dear that sometimes we don't pay attention to the bottom line. But this is the month of financial reckoning when the credit card bills come in and you may be saying to yourself, did I really spend that much? Just how good was the holiday season for retailers and how much debt did Americans rack up? CN8's own Mary Caracoli, the host of Money Matters Today, has an overview.
Thank you, Mary. Despite a slow start, the holidays were jolly for many retailers. While the total sales for the season are still being calculated, the National Association of Retailers says business was up from last year. MasterCard reports that retail spending grew by 6.5%, and many of you shopped online. More than $12 billion in sales were rung up on the web. Great news for retailers, not so good if you used your credit card. Early projections say Americans charged more than $100 billion between Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's according to CardWeb, a consumer credit card information company that's based in Maryland. And guess what? It's not just this year's gifts they're paying for. One survey discovered as many as 52% of us still have holiday debt left over from a year ago. Now, if you maxed out your credit cards over the holidays, don't despair. There is help. As with all money issues, the key is to get a plan together and to communicate. If you face your debt instead of ignoring it, chances are you'll pay it off faster. If you have a hard time paying off your cards, communicate. Work with the card issuer to come up with a payment plan. Mary, as you know, this will help protect your credit rating. So face the music and come up with a plan. I'm Mary Caracoli, sending it back to you.
Thank you, Mary. Okay, now we know you may be hurting because of holiday binge shopping. Credit card guru Scott Bilker is here today to help put us all back on the road to financial health. As we go to break, folks, do you feel overwhelmed by credit card debt? Give us a call. We'll be right back. According to Visa USA, total U.S. spending on Visa debt and credit cards during the holiday season, that's November 28th through December 28th, reached $97.9 billion, a 14.2% increase over last year. Welcome back to Real Life. Well, Visa certainly had happy holidays, didn't they? I'm sure most other credit card companies had an increase in spending over last year. And now that the holidays are over and the bills inevitably will be coming in, we will see just how much we individually spent and or overspent, but you can get a grip on your credit card debt, and we are here to help today. So give us a call at 1-877-CN8-LIVE. My guest today, credit card and debt management expert Scott Bilker of DebtSmart.com. He is author of the book Talk Your Way Out of Credit Card Debt, Phone Calls to Banks That Saved More Than $43,000 in interest charges and fees. Now, before we get started, we want to invite you to take the Real Life web poll. Log on to www.cn8.tv/Real Life. The question: how did you manage holiday spending? Did you spend only what you could afford? Did you spend a little more than you planned on? Did you overspend? Charge too much? Please log on, let us know. We also want to let you know at home that Scott's brought along one copy of each of his books, and the first 3 callers who ask for a book will get one. So start dialing with your particular credit card debt problem. Okay, Scott, I started asking you this during the break. Sure. I'm always interested to see how people manage their holiday spending, and of course, the credit card guru, what do you do?
What we do is we organize all the gifts by people and analyze each of the gifts by category, like immediate family, friends, things like that. And then after the holidays are over, we look at those numbers and then adjust them, say, for the next year. I think that the key is really to have good planning from the very beginning. If you have an amount you can spend and you stick to that amount, then you'll be fine. And it doesn't really matter if you use cash or credit, because it's spent. I mean, if you plan to spend $1,000, then it doesn't matter how it's done, as long as you just hold it to that.
And you do that with your wife. You and your wife. Do you involve the kids? I know your son is 12 now.
Well, no, we don't involve.
Really.
We don't involve the kids. But I'm very lucky. My wife is very good about handling gifts. She does all the gift shopping. She does a great job.
But the two of you sit and you talk at the end of the season over where you potentially went over, or.
Right. Well, we look at it and adjust it for the next year, and it always just seems to work out very well.
Yeah, you know what I saw when I was shopping this holiday season? I actually saw a woman, as she got her credit card receipt, she logged it in a little book. So I guess she knew, now this may sound incredibly naive of me, but I never do that. But she was clearly logging everything she spent on credit cards as well. So she was not surprised, I presume, at the end of the holiday season. Right,
that's very smart. You want to, track it as you go along, so you see how far you have to go, and you want to keep to your averages and kind of stay within your limits, because there has to be a limit. You can't just, spend unbounded.
Right. We've got a caller, Sarita. You got a problem?
Yes, very much so.
Okay. You think it's too easy to get credit, I understand.
It is. I believe it's too easy.
Yeah.
I'm still paying for 2 Christmases ago.
Well, you heard Mary Caracoli talking about that a lot of people are still paying off last year's Christmas debt. Now, and you're saying 2 years worth of debt.
Yes.
So how much money do you owe?
Truthfully?
Yeah. Tell me. I'll be non-judgmental. Go ahead. How much?
Non-judgmental. Yeah. About $5,000.
Yes.
When I go out, and you should always have a budget.
Yeah. That's what Scott was just saying. Yeah.
What you're going to buy for that person, not spending over that. And unfortunately,
now, Sarita, is that whole $5,000 from holiday spending?
Yes.
Well, it's not really good to mentally think of it as being, debt from 2 Christmases ago. Look at it as being all the debt you have today, and you want to tackle that debt right now. It doesn't matter where it came from. You might hear people talk about good credit and bad credit, good debt, bad debt. No such thing. There's just
debt. Is debt.
Debt is debt. Exactly, Mary.
Okay. So, Sarita, now, what steps have you been taking to try to whittle down that credit card debt? Are you paying more than the minimum amount due?
The minimum amount due. What I would like is I just get everything together and just get one lump sum and get all the credit cards and burn them.
Well, that might not be such a good thing, Sarita, because what you're going to need to have is open lines of credit so you can make the banks compete against each other so you can get the best interest rates. You're going to want to use like $5,000 in open lines of credit so you can contact your banks and ask them for a low rate and tell them, look, I've got all this holiday debt and I'll transfer my balances to you if you're going to give me a great rate right now.
Okay, so you suggest you make some phone calls.
You have to make some phone calls. It's always a good time to negotiate for good rates right now, because all the banks know that people have holiday debt. And in fact, I got a call this morning.
Did you?
From one of my banks, but it was automated. Usually humans call me, but now they're sending, their robots to do it. But they offer me a great rate to transfer some of my holiday debt.
Wow, okay. So if they're not calling you, maybe you should start calling them or collect those offers we all get in the mail.
Exactly.
Right? You want to 0% on transferred sums.
That's right. That's a very good point. And yet you need to track those credit offers because some of them are very good. Again, you have to read the fine print. Everything's in the fine print. But for the most part, they're probably better than the high rates you have today. So there's a lot of savings there. Okay,
Sarita and everybody else out there, we want to offer some of Scott Bilker's special, sensible holiday tips, post-holiday tips. We're going to read through them first. Okay, first of all, you should review your holiday credit card statements for accuracy. Makes sense, but a lot of us just throw the bills in the drawer and we don't look. If your credit card company says you can skip a payment, do it. And pay extra money to a higher rate card so that you can pay off the higher rate card more quickly. You want to pay off your department store credit cards first. We've just been talking about this. Negotiate low rate or 0% rate transfers for your holiday purchases. If someone's offering you a low rate, move all your debt over there as much as you can. Take advantage of post-holiday sales. Oh, Scott, you're really ahead of the ball here. And start shopping for next year.
Right, you can save so much money.
People really do that.
You know, take that gift list again, write it out, make a copy, and then go out. If you see something for someone, you pick it up during the year when it's less expensive. Because in that holiday crunch, it's so easy to say, you know, I'll just buy this.
Right. I gotta buy something.
Exactly.
I'm crazed. But now that is really an excellent tip to sort of buy during the year. But then you have to remember where you put it. That's the problem. Where did I store that? We're going to take a quick break. We want to know, has holiday shopping left you burdened with credit card debt? Please give us a call. We're here to help. Coming up on Real Life on Tuesday, drop those holiday pounds. Did you gain a few pounds or more than a few over the holidays? Have you resolved to lose weight in the new year? Have you failed miserably in the past? We'll be live and taking your calls. On Wednesday, we are preempted, but we will be back with a new live show on Thursday. How did you manage holiday spending? Did you spend only what you could afford? Did you spend a little more than you planned, or did you overspend and charge too much? Log on to www.cn8.tv/real life and let us know. Welcome back to Real Life. Did you spend more than you wanted to this holiday season? Are you dreading the credit card bills that will be coming your way? We are talking about dumping your holiday debt with credit card and debt management expert Scott Bilker of DebtSmart.com. Scott is author of a number of books, including Credit Card and Debt Management and How to Be Credit Card and Debt Smart. Scott, of course, has a special offer for all of you at home. Log on to www.debtsmart.com/CN8 and you can buy all three of his books for only $19.95, which is a savings of about $30 for our Real Life viewers. Okay, Scott, we're going to go to the phones. Renee, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thanks. How's your credit card debt?
My credit card debt, well, I'll tell you this. I have one credit card balance with about $2,200.
Okay.
The interest rate is about 15.15%.
That's high.
I know. Very high. Then I have another credit card debt of $1,878. The interest rate is about 9.9.
Okay, great.
Now, the 15.15% interest rate, I've had that card for 9 years. Never been late. I've called them like the last 6 months trying to negotiate with them the interest rate. Every time I call, they say the computer's down, call back later. So I finally got them Friday, and they said, we can't help you.
Did you ask to speak to a supervisor when you called?
No, I didn't.
That's what you got to do. Call back and just tell a supervisor, say, look, here's the story. You know, I've been with you for, how long did you say, 9 years?
9 years.
9 years.
Never been late.
Right, never been late. And you know what? It's an unfair rate. I've got many other credit cards to choose from, so here's your opportunity to keep a customer, because what's going to happen is when I transfer my balance, which I'm going to do as soon as we hang up, you're just going to send me a low rate offer to get me back. So why don't you be smart and just give me the low rate today? And I tell you what, you're probably going to have some success once you speak to the supervisor, and then if they don't do it, contact that other bank that has that 9.99% and say, hey, listen, raise my credit limit and I'll transfer that $1,500 from another card right now, and they will do that immediately. I can almost assure you of that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Renee.
Okay, best of luck, Renee. Okay, Amy, got a lot of credit card debt? Hi.
Hi.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you for a second there.
Well, my question to you is, how is your credit card debt?
It's extreme.
Yeah, what's the problem? So how much do you have charged?
Actually, I have probably about 5,000-6,000, maybe 8. Yeah, it's up there. I felt like I had everything go on me at once. I had my washer and dryer and my dishwasher. And
oh boy, so you had a lot of necessities that you had to take care of. And it's so nice to have the credit cards when you need them so that you can replace those important appliances. But now you need a plan.
Yeah.
So my question to you, Amy, first is...
I got the 0% APR and the no payments until July.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, and I'm thinking July is in 7 months, and or 6 months now, and I've not paid a dime on it. So, like now, I saw that you were on here. I was like, oh, you know, I want to call and find out what I should do.
Okay, so right now all that debt's at 0% until July?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. That's really good because you're saving so much money in interest payments. What's going to happen is even though your deal's going to end in July, it's probably going to be in your July statement. So you're going to want to pay that off in full somehow prior to July. And you might have to use other credit cards to pay that off. But that's a great rate. So do you have any other open lines of credit you could probably use to pay that off before the July offer ends?
No,
Okay.
no, I don't.
So what's the rate going to go to in July, Amy?
It'll probably go high. It's probably going to be about 23%. But I'm just more worried about I being charged back APR. I don't know if that happens.
Well, usually when it comes to credit card offers, there's no back charges for APR. However, it's possible that in the fine print somewhere they could try to sneak you with that, but they would say if it's not paid off in full. Usually this happens with like furniture stores or department stores. They'll tell you if it's not paid off in full by this time, we're going to charge you all these back payments. But in this case, it's probably not going to happen. So it's important that you have a plan, something to do before that time period. But even if that comes and they do raise your rate, you can call them up and say, hey, look, you know, I transfer my balance to get this low rate. It's too high. If you don't bring it down to something reasonable, like 9.9, I'll just transfer it to another bank.
But I want to ask you a question on her behalf. Should she be paying something even though she doesn't have to?
You know, that's a very good point. You know, in most cases, I would say yes, but at 0%, as long as the money's going to something else that's useful, then I would say that you don't really need to pay anything towards it. For example, if you had a lot of high rate debt and you have the 0% offer, you want to make the payments to that. Which you don't. High rate debt. Yes, you want to at least have the money aside. You don't want to take the money and spend it.
Right. So, you're doing something useful with make your money work for you.
Like leave it in the bank. Let it earn some interest, although very little. It's greater than nothing. So no need to really pay them back at the 0, but at least get some interest on it.
And be ready to pay them back before you start paying 23% in interest.
Have a plan.
Okay, we are going to go next to Margot. Hi, Margot.
Yeah, hi, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. How's your credit card debt?
Oh, my God, I got to buy that man's book and go read it in the church.
Oh, my, oh, my.
I need the supernatural powers of the Lord. I'm in debt about $41,000.
Oh, that's a lot of money. How did you get so far in debt?
It just happens.
Yeah. Okay, so how do we make...
I plead guilty.
Is it across a whole bunch of cards, Margot, or is it cards, department stores? How is that debt allocated?
Cards, and then they send you checks too.
Okay, all of the above.
Credit card checks.
And what are the rates on these debts?
You know, there's one card I don't like, and I want to warn your viewers. Because I also live in L.A. I had satellite TV, and I used to do my horses. You needed a $50 to get in on the credit card. And then let's say you lose the $50, you call the credit card company and you say $10 worth more of credit.
Okay.
They charge you $15 for each amount.
Yeah, you have to be very careful when you use your credit cards for cash advances or certain deal offers. What's very important
but I didn't know that. They should tell you.
Right.
They should say, I mean, I put $10 on the credit and it was $15 charge.
Right. Those are things that you probably should avoid doing. You know, signing off for more debt when you don't know what the fine print is. But what do you do for someone who's significantly in debt, $41,000?
Well, there's 3 important things you need to do to get out of debt. The first of all is to become organized financially. You have to make sure that you're tracking all your bills, watching all the rates, writing everything down, making a list of everything. The second thing you have to do is become more efficient with your current debts, which means lowering those interest rates, using one bank against another, taking advantage of those low rate offers and looking for new credit options. There are so many credit options out there, and when you start looking, you'll find them everywhere. And third, at some point, even when you're at 0%, you have to earn more money to pay back your debt. So that might mean a second job, going back to school.
Right.
But you know,
find new ways for new money.
New ways for new money. Have a garage sale. Sell things online. A lot of friends of mine have been very successful selling things, making, say, woodworking projects. In fact, pot holders for the kitchen and selling eBay. Yes.
Cafe. Anyway, we've got to take a quick break. Sure. Do you feel overwhelmed by your credit card debt? Please give us a call. We can help. Next time on Real Life, drop those holiday pounds. Have you gained a few pounds over the holidays? Have you resolved to lose weight in 2004 like everybody else? We'll be live and taking your calls. Welcome back to Real Life. We are talking about dumping your holiday debt with credit card and debt management expert Scott Bilker of DebtSmart.com. And if you go to that website, you can visit his online help center, www.debtsmart.com/help center. I'm sorry. We're going to go first to Jody. Hey, Jody. Are you there?
Hello?
Yeah. Oh, Bob, how are you?
Actually, this is Brian. But
Brian, okay.
How are you
Talk
doing?
to me. I'm fine, thanks.
You know, it's good to talk to someone. I haven't mentioned this to anybody, but I was laid off from a job a couple years ago, and I went back to school to finish my degree, and my debt situation kind of hindered my ability to get a decent job in the financial services because I had, you know, like delinquent credit card debt and charge-offs and whatnot. But eventually I was able to land a job about 3 months ago with a decent company, and I'm finally able to start making some money again. However, I haven't paid on my debt that I had accumulated for about 2 years. So all of my debt has gone to like these third-party collections and charge-offs and whatnot. And I was wondering, you know, what type of advice you'd give to someone that was severely in debt and, you know, is just now able to correct the situation.
Okay, so all your debt now is with the third-party debt collectors.
Yeah, and
you have to be very careful with how you handle those people. That's the first thing, because a lot of them might try to threaten you and take advantage of you. So it's very important to carefully deal with them, especially when they call. Their rights to collect the debts from you are limited. They can't call you at work. If you tell them to stop calling you, they have to stop calling you.
Yeah.
And you can learn about all your rights at the Federal Trade Commission's website, ftc.gov. So that might help, Brian. And Brian, you brought up another very good point in the beginning about that bad credit can hurt your ability to get a job. You know, a lot of employers look at your credit history and then use that to help determine whether they're going to hire people. So that's another reason why it's so important to have a good credit history and a good credit report.
So what does Bob do now with this 2-year-old debt? Brian, I'm sorry.
Well, you know, if whatever debt you have outstanding now from the creditors that are direct, you should try to contact them directly. And from there, maybe you can work something out. And then again, some of these third-party debt collectors might be lying to you about the amounts they have. So, you know, again, you might want to actually think about seeking some legal advice on those last debts, because you want to make sure that's taken care of properly.
Okay, we wish you the best, Brian. We're going to go next to Bob. Hi, Bob.
Hello.
Yes.
Thank you, Mary, for taking my call, and Scott, too. My question is, if you incur a lot of holiday debt, does that affect your credit score?
Well, you know, having the debt might not affect your credit score, only in that it's going to decrease your available credit. So in that way, it might reduce it a little. But what can hurt your credit score is if you don't pay it back or if you're late. Mm-hmm. And what really affects your credit score as far as how much credit you've used is the percentage of credit that you've used to all the credit that you have available. So yeah, if you spend all your credit lines during the holiday season, then it's going to affect it negatively, but chances are that's not the case. You know, most people use a little, just a little bit.
Right, but it's not good, especially to have filled up credit lines if you want to buy a car or a house. You want to be pretty clean, right?
But holiday debt usually won't hurt everyone.
Okay, thanks so much, Scott Bilker. I want to thank Mary Caracoli for helping us out at the top of the show. Her show tonight at 8:30, Hot Jobs of 2004. So if you want a new job, check that out. See you all. Bye.